Doing pretty good over here. I made a nice little handout for myself of all my psychic powers and how they work, just to smooth that along.
I've completely forgotten everything about this game. Hope that goes well.
Well, good. It'll be learning. Oh, actually,
I
that's
also
good.
I
see
believe we call that
that.
mental trauma.
I also see that Griffin's new character is a giant. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I easily outsized the Baneblade.
There you go. That's all that matters.
My psychic power is, in fact, to grow big.
I find that suspicious, and I shoot him.
I mean, what could go wrong?
The only thing more suspicious is Raygun, like, hanging out up towards the barracks.
No, not really. We put a stuffed version of his body up there as a warning to others.
Yeah, that's our candlelight memorial.
Oh, geez, there's.
He's holding a bone. Someone's bone. I don't know who it was anymore.
I have Laszlo's bone, yeah. I forgot to get a souvenir from Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just make a
I
new
think
one.
I got 2 questions, if you're willing to answer them.
All right.
The first is, can aiming apply to psionic power usage?
If the psionic power usage is an aimed attack, I believe it does. But
I don't believe any of the actual things that do damage are, so I guess that's a no. Good to know. One less half action I gotta worry about.
Yeah, so like a lot of these things,
Mhm.
like flame breath, it's a psychic thing, right? So
Mhm.
the action is a half action.
Yeah, a lot of these are you just do it and then it happens.
Exactly. So there's a couple of these that are actual. I am trying to shoot you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
I'm just narrowing down, like, what am I going to do with my other half action? And the only other option is
hide.
Guarded stance, I believe. Guarded action.
I gotta say, looking at the backlog of rolls that you've made for your Psyker, seems like it's going to be a perfect fit for you. I don't see anything negative happening.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had to test if like the psionic buttons would actually add or change bonuses, and the answer is they don't, so I'm going to be clicking willpower. Even if you give it a positive or negative bonus, it will not actually change it.
So, I mean, that looks like out of 9 attempts to do anything, 6 times failed.
But one of those times I succeeded with 8 points.
You understand the difference between being like bound, unbound, whether you're being fettered, pushed?
Right. Bound is just, I am a psionic caster of the Empire, and that's the only thing I'm going to be.
Correct.
The other ones are how much power I pump into it.
Correct. So because you're bound, basically whenever you make a focus power test, you basically count your psi rating as half the normal one. Which you can. That's so like so your bound is like your classification, right? So you can play fettered, right, which means it halves your psi rating, but there's no chance to manifest anything wonky.
So that's
right?
half and then half.
No, it's just half your psi rating.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. So you're just classified as a bound psyker.
Okay, just making sure I understand.
Yeah.
So everything should be good in that regard.
Yep, you could try and cast it unfettered, which is basically you're sucking in more of that good old warp energy to spit out something funky.
Just a plain old normal roll, and then I can push it, and then something terrible will happen.
Yep, so basically, if you roll doubles while you're unfettered, then you have to roll on the psychic phenomenon table. You can also push it, which you add 3 to your psi rating, or up to 3, but that you will roll on the psychic phenomenon table, and you add plus 10 to the total.
Also be shot.
Yeah, more than likely.
Well, we'll see. So I guess the only question I have then is, guarded action can provide plus 10 to evasion checks, and I have foreboding, which would replace that with basically a psionic test instead of evasion. Right. If I am guarding and I choose to psionically evade, do I get the plus 10?
Second. You should. It's still considered a guarded action, correct?
Yep.
So.
All right. So a lot of my half actions when I get will probably be guarded action.
Now, there's something that I don't normally play psychers, and there's something that psychers normally do on their half action.
I tried to find a channeling thing. I didn't see one.
Ah, okay, got it. For your
I know
gear,
that's what you do in Warhammer.
Hold on a second. Let me just double check this real quick. Ancient Psyker, page 94.
Hey, for those listening at
So
home,
you-
he means
so you
Warhammer
do-
Fantasy.
Yeah, you start with a Psi focus, which is good.
Yep.
Did you already roll for your 1d5 corruption points?
Yes, I did.
What'd you get?
A 3.
Oh, fun.
Oh yeah, we're already looking great.
And what did you crank your Psi rating up to with that XP?
2.
Oh, you
Did
just
not raise
started-
it at all. I got 5 psionic powers though.
Oh, right. So you got a bunch of different powers. Just
Yep.
you're like
The next thing I'm probably going to do though is increase it to 3.
you like just passed your Psyker school. It's like
Yup.
it's fine. Everything's fine. I was sure this will work out without any issues.
I've done a lot of number calculations. It should be okay. Until I need to stop a tank.
At which point,
Yeah, well on your way to being sacrificed at the foot of the Emperor.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing your life's purposes amounted to.
Mhm,
Well, that you have to hope for.
that's how we do it.
In my Rogue Trader game, there's a navigator, and he has a psychic power. Like, if everybody can see his eye, then they take damage. And the whole party had to roll, even like the crewmates that were with him. And he killed like half of their crew with one psychic
Damn.
power. It didn't even phase the enemies because they were all zombies.
Pure gaze attack. Wonderful. Mm.
Ding, ding.
My first thought was, yeah, I could get that power too. It's a fucking laser. I put it in my eye.
I'm thinking that's a
painful
straight
eye.
up force power if I recall.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like you aim any of this. You just
Mhm.
manage to do it, and it's on them.
Yep, you do it, and occasionally it might say they'd resist with willpower.
Oh yeah. See, attack, concentration, blah blah blah.
They could
blah,
probably
blah.
totally evade though, as normal.
I mean, the orcs not so much. They're more
Yeah,
of
orcs
a,
not so
we'll just take
much.
it in the
They can
face.
try like us, but if they're anything like us, they'll fail.
That ain't no joke. All right.
Mhm.
So let's just
So our new sergeant made me throw away my jacket, but did he say anything about my pistol?
no, he didn't actually pat you down for contraband.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Let's test the
I mean,
waters. This
potentially-
sounds like a good
potentially you
idea.
Potentially, you could just, go back to it and get your jacket and have a badass jacket. But do you really want to?
Yeah, but he told me to throw it away, so
That's true.
that's the boss.
But did he tell you not to get it back out of the trash?
You told
I
me to
guess I
throw
need to
it
wear
away.
it
You didn't
in the
tell me not to
dumpster.
take things out.
I mean, hell, you're gonna play the field with a gun. Why not go all the way?
Alrighty then. So, who would like to do a recap?
It's typically the sergeant's job, and now you're the sergeant. So,
Uh-oh.
Who's the highest ranking surviving member?
There you go. What was the accent for this one? Forget.
Southern?
I think he was also a redneck.
Yeah. He was just a hardcore redneck.
I thought it was uptight.
Uptight redneck. Tight, hardcore redneck. Let's just throw out all the verbs.
Like, so,
I could go
there's
ahead
a
and
whole
give
lot
you
of
the
adjectives coming at me right now.
He was,
I could give you the recap.
he was
though,
the
if you
Full
want.
Metal Jacket.
He was a yes, boy, you gonna do that.
I don't think that's how it sounded.
Swedish chef redneck, I guess.
Recap from what I recall last time is that we had finished defeating the mangrove, I believe, which we didn't know what it was. And we decided to go ahead and continue our mission and explore the house, finding large amounts of loot taken from people who had died around there, as well as one singular survivor, which we throw a hazmat suit to, and then we booked it out of there with a few bags full of evidence. On our way back, we were ambushed by 4 orc trucks of different varieties. After a single rocket to the back, the orcs spun out of control through the woods, crashed into each other, and we darted off towards the front line. That was about 2.5 hours of roll. At which point, the remaining orcs are artilleried. we all get back. We are debriefed, cleaned, and given brand new uniforms and stuff because everything is probably infected. Oh, our survivor on the way back turned out to be a person worshipping chaos and was nigh unkillable, or at least didn't seem phased by it.
Okay with this.
When we got back, Raygun was summarily executed, and the gang moves on. We almost had a cool jacket for it.
Cool footnote, bro.
I fought chaos, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
In an unmarked grave.
That they made me throw away.
Yup.
All right, and you have settled in back at your primary base with a giant new token. Lovely.
He's gotta get scaled down a little bit.
Yeah, only the GM can be
Ah,
scaled.
that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. Nope. Okay. There we go. Is drawing. Perfect. Still gigantic. There we go. Close enough. Alrighty then.
Perfect.
If I recall correctly, we had a tech priest that was busy trying to fix a super heavy tank. Is that correct?
I don't recall if I did.
I think you were praying.
You spent a good 18 hours of sacred prayer, meditation, and the burning of incense.
And then
prior
rolled
to-
6.9 additional degrees of success.
Boom. Yeah, you're able to properly lubricate the tread system, get the belts operational once again. As you're working there, you see this incredibly, we'll say skinny, but possibly not on the side of health as far as skinniness is concerned. Older man with just an incredibly regal uniform, flanked by about 6 other crewmen, also in a uniform that, like, you don't recognize it. You've not seen it anywhere around
Doesn't
here.
matter. Immediately stop what I'm doing. Salute.
uh, you see the officer snaps a salute right back and goes, "Well, tech priest, fantastic. I was told that you had actually, well, we had gone looking for you, but it seems that you found this place already. Well done. I'm Commander Chagrin. This, well, this old beauty," and he sort of just pats the machine, "has been in my family for generations. Welcome to the Aegis of Ataman." And you can notice that there's a tiny little plaque that was covered in grime that you managed to like clean off with the unguents that says Aegis of Ataman right on the side of the super heavy tank. So, am I to understand that it's operational? Treads seem functional again. One of the guys goes over and just sort of polishes it a little bit.
The sacred unguences have been applied, sir. All prayers
that
have been
can-
mustered, sir. She has
And
been
has that-
properly oiled, sir.
And lubricated.
Of course, sir.
Well done. You'll get a commendation for this. Although, I had assumed that those filthy little pint-sized ratlings would have taken care of this on their own, but it's good to know that we have an actual engine seer in this rat hole of a base. If you need anything, by all means, let me know. It's good to see the Aegis up and running again. And with that, he goes, "Oh, just talk to my manservant, Wilfred." And he walks up, and you can see like 4 of the other people all set down these tiny step stools that allow him to climb up into the back and then go into the hatch of the super heavy tank. See, Wilfred looks at you and goes,
I hand him my data slate.
takes a look at it, and goes, "If it's acceptable with you, I'm going to put you on as a potential retainer. That whenever we return back here, you can perform the appropriate, well, maintenance rites necessary to maintain, well, the good graces of the machine spirit of this old beast.
It would be an honor.
Indeed it is. Don't let it go to your head. And he takes a look at the data slate, he marks some things off, and he hands it back to you. And he goes, if you're going to, well, over the next few months, if you prove to be particularly capable, our last tech priest sadly met its end. We could use a dedicated engine seer for this Baneblade. Of course, you're not entirely, and as he looks up and down like your machine body, you can see he's looking at your modifications and he's just sort of wincing. He goes, hopefully you don't mind undergoing a few additional modifications. Someone of this prestigious assignment needs to look the role, and quite frankly, I don't know how you're going to perform half of these repair works without additional mechadendrites. I'll see if I can't put in a requisition. Keep up the good work. Who knows? Perhaps you'll be following our good commander like all the rest of us lackeys. And with that, he takes out a little glow stick and lights it, and he begins walking around the Baneblade to make sure everything's functional and
Sir,
good to
yes,
go.
sir.
Meanwhile, Tabor, what are you up to? Oh no, he's dead.
He's muted. The worst possible outcome.
The sergeant got him.
I am muted. I guess I'm just chilling. Oh, you guys gave me a cookbook or something.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, the
I,
cookbook from the Nurgle place, yeah.
I tear all the pages that I want out, and then I give the book to York, the chef.
See, York looks at it, and you can see York is actually in the back area by the barracks, since it's like the chow hall is for the most part he's off shift. He's just sitting there playing his guitar, and as a matter of fact, I think I'm getting an echo, so let me change all of this immediately. There we go. And he goes, "Oh, George, it's good to see you again. I didn't think you were going to make it back. From what I understand, the well, all the skulls, on that man you left with, the well, let's just say, doesn't exactly give me a warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, I made it out without a scratch.
Sorry to hear about your deserter of a sergeant getting put down like that.
Oh yeah, it's just Tuesday.
Right, well, if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm your man." And you see, as he's talking, he's still like strumming the guitar, and he goes, "Funny thing though, you finding a cookbook out there?"
Well, it was in the kitchen, and I was collecting paperwork, so
Well, if I find anything interesting in there, mate, I'll be sure to put your name on it. Call it the New Jort
yeah.
Special.
I don't know who Martha Stewart is, but these are some good recipes.
Oh, there's even a section cooking humans. I think that means cooking. That means cooking full. Let me just edit that out.
Well, as long as it's edible, I guess that's all.
Yeah. Oh, a recipe. Grandpa's favorite. Oh, that does seem charming. But as that's going on, is there anything you'd like to accomplish there, Jort?
No, not really. I just give him the book.
All right, we'll skip over to our psyker, who is currently. Where would you like to be? What would our new psyker be up to?
Well, if I've got, I've just been assigned here, so I'm probably staking out my territory where I will have to be perpetually alone, as no one is allowed to talk to me.
Funny thing about that, as you're standing sort of near the Hold on. I guess we can just have you right there. That's your
Mhm.
the parade ground formation area. Let's see. We're just gonna use the commissar as a stand-in for your sergeant
Okay.
because I don't remember where I put his token.
I'm sure he's somewhere around here.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, you as they're standing out there, you see a certain sergeant walk up, and he goes, "Right. So I'm here to. I understand that you've been recently assigned to our regiment.
That's correct, sir.
Fantastic. I don't think I need to point out the obvious. We don't particularly like you, or the things you can do, or the way you look, or the sound of your voice. There's very little about your existence here in front of me and in my regiment that gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling on my insides. That being said, it has been impressed upon me to no end that you're a vital interest into the success of our mission here. So, I'll be working with you. And by working, that means I will be attached to your hip, or you mine, and we will go about our missions trying not to murder one another. You murdering me by the sheer accident of your little willpower, blowing up around us and murdering all of us by melting our skin off or some freaky witch shit. Or me murdering you for literally any reason I can come up with.
I'll try not to give you a reason. In that light, you did receive the paper formally declaring what I'm capable of, didn't you?
Oh yeah, you are about as effective as a fire team of men with las guns.
Very generous of you.
I do think highly of those las guns. That being said, there's not a whole lot of you. So, it has also been heavily stressed that I protect your life from people other than me. And if I have to lay down wave after wave of God-fearing, emperor-loving, wonderful guardsmen in order to make sure that you don't scrape your knee, that's what I'm going to have to do. So please, do not bite off more than you can chew.
If I can just have a nice place to read my books, there shouldn't be a single bit of trouble.
Mm. Reading in the Astra Militarum? What has this place come to?
Well, if you'd prefer, I actually have a chessboard.
Oh, you might actually have better luck with that in the officers' quarters. In the meantime, and he sort of gives you a billet, you are not to be allowed to stay within the barracks with the regular troopers. We don't want you to corrupt them, or for them to try and murder you in their sleep. Something goes missing, they're bound to blame the psyker. Someone gets a cold, they're gonna blame the psyker. Someone has night terrors, they're gonna blame the psyker. All of those things seem completely, well, reasonable on my part, but regardless, you have been given your own private quarters, which I will escort you to now. And sure enough, he escorts you over, and it looks like they've cleared out a section of the officers' quarters
Mm-hmm.
for specialists like you right here.
Perfect. So, I'll go ahead, step in, start unpacking, and of course set up a nice little chessboard where I have this very special singular king piece, which is the psionic focus.
Oh, sweet.
It
That's a
said
really
it could
cool
be
focus.
anything, so I'm just like, sure, why not? It's
I
thematic.
like it. That's perfect, man. That's great. And once that's done, as you enter in, you hear a knock on your door.
Oh, already.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'll go ahead and answer.
It's that same sergeant. He goes, "May I enter?"
Of course, sir. Come in.
He steps in, and as he's looking around, uh, he pauses and he goes, "Right, sorry about that. When I'm in within earshot of the other soldiers, I got to put on a scene. We are damn glad to have you here. Someone of your capabilities is a huge boon to the war effort. But seriously, try not to put yourself in danger. If you die, I'm very likely going to get executed for wasting valuable war resources."
Of course. Dying out here is the last thing I kind of want.
Can you explain exactly what your powers are? Because they did send me a paper with your capabilities, but it was all blacked out. I do not have the clarification. I do not have the clearance to view that document, despite me being in charge of your well-being.
I understand. I'll put
I
it into
don't.
the simplest terms I can, then.
Please do.
The first is that I can control the minds of others for a brief moment. When it comes to the orcs, that should be no problem. The second is that I can force them to see mass hallucinations, which also controls their mind, but in a slightly more unpredictable way. I can see the future within a few moments, and should be able to avoid most gunfire. I can hurl any object I desire with my mind. Imagine getting hit by a big rock. It's not nice. And last and most importantly, if there is any significant technological object that needs to be interfered with, I can cause it to cease functioning immediately.
I me to keep you away from the armory.
It does require a lot of focus for that one, and I'll warn you ahead of time, if it needs to happen, I will put all of my will into making it happen.
All right then.
Because I doubt the tank driving up on everyone is going to be anything they want.
Well, I doubt it.
I just hope it doesn't have to come to it.
And he goes, I believe you're working with Staff Sergeant Jones, right? Yeah. So he sticks his hand out, and then after a second, he sort of like hesitates, and he goes, "For the record, and I'm sure I don't have to say this, the Astra Militarum, the Guard, frowns heavily upon you using your Psyker Witch powers on the common man. Right? You want to use it against orcs and other filthy xenos or the mutants, feel free. But don't be using it to cheat at cards. Don't be using it to get a leg up on anything. You cannot use your powers on the other guardsmen. Now, that being said, we have a game of football at the end of the week, and, well, Charlie Platoon, they're much better than us. Our quarterback is not, he doesn't have the greatest arm. He got clipped by one of the orc slug throwers not that long ago. And like I said, it is clear that you can't use any of your powers on the regular guardsmen, but you said that you could punch the shit out of stuff and throw it across the air. Could you do that to a football that's already in midair?
Theoretically.
Because technically, that's not a member of the guard. That's some old pigskin.
Oh, I mean, you could always give it a temporary rank.
Well, look, that's only happened like 3 or 4 times in this regiment's history.
I saw a few
Yes,
times a
Corporal Wilson.
mechadendrite get a rank, which was honestly a little bit bizarre to me.
To be fair,
I think someone strapped a knife to it and they promoted it for each officer it stabbed.
well, the idea behind that, well, to be fair, they all turned out to be treasonous bastards. But turns out that mechadendrite was actually malfunctioning. It had to be put down once it failed to salute. So
tragic, really.
we tend not to promote mechadendrites anymore for that reason. At any
Can't
rate,
go wrong with the football.
At any rate, welcome to the team. It's been something of an ad hoc organization. We've recently had a number of specialists assigned to our unit. So, well, for whatever reason, the captain has decided that it's best to consolidate all of our specialists into one team, which means that we will not be seeing frontline duty. Sadly. We're going to have to find other more creative ways to die for the Empire.
Joy. Well, I guess at least we won't be bored.
I'll introduce you to the rest of the team tomorrow morning. In the meantime, if you want to leave these quarters, by all means, I'm going to have a private stationed here at all times. You just poke them on the shoulder, let them know that you need to head out, and I'll come back here ASAP.
Understood, sir. I'll settle in for now.
All right, fantastic. What did you say your name was again, weird guy?
Scipio Germanus.
All right, Skippy. I'm Staff Sergeant Jones. Pleasure to have you.
And I'll reach out to try to shake his hand this time.
He just sort of looks at it, and he shakes your hands, sort of like, and like
And in
you notice
between his
that like,
he's like, man, this guy's a wimp.
yeah, and like you notice that he doesn't close his fist. He just sort of like holds it there as he then uses his other hand to open the door and walks out.
Yeah. And I'm settling in.
Meanwhile, Private Jort, while you're hanging out there, you hear a familiar voice. Jort! Private Jort!
I kind of just like stop what I'm doing and just draw attention.
So, I have a bit of an assignment for you. It's very important.
Yes, sir.
How good are you at standing stock still for hours at a time?
I think my limit is like 3
That was
days.
actually a rhetorical question, Jort. I need you to go find he gives you I need you to go find officer quarter 2C. Stand outside, and if some skinny little weird guy named Skippy Germano taps you on the shoulder, you come find me.
Alright.
Oh, and Jort, whatever you do,
Yeah.
do not shoot him.
Oh, can I shoot like next to him?
Jort, how many firearms do you have on you right now?
I don't have any firearms. Y'all took it from me when I got here.
Then how would you shoot near him?
I don't know. You told me not to shoot him. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get my parameters.
Right, so here's the thing, and he pulls out your heavy bolter, and he goes, here's your bolter. Now you may notice something
yeah.
rather conspicuous about this bolter, and it is that it has no ammunition in it.
Oh, so I just smack him with it. Oh, I got it, Sarge. I got it. And I just start walking away with my heavy bolter.
That. And he looks over at Sergeant York. Private Jort, intentionally sarcastic or just breathtakingly stupid? And York just goes, keeps playing. Alrighty then. I don't believe Private York ever did get promoted.
You just called him Sergeant York. That's what I was saying.
Oh, my bad.
It's hard because he's, was actually the Sergeant York that we're all famous for.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
see,
keep
there's
messing that
actually
up.
like several different Yorks involved. It's a family thing. So
Yeah.
there's some privates, there's some sergeant. You gotta get it.
Well, I'm
not get
Chipman
it
in York.
I mean, there has to be some privates for it to be the family thing.
Alrighty then. So, as you start to settle in, are you just gonna hang out and play chess? And if so, Jort, you're gonna have to roll me a toughness test at +20,
All right.
or I should say, with a 20-point bonus. As an
Let's
hour goes by, still standing there. Jort, you don't even notice. There's a fly literally on your nose. You forgot all about it. You're too busy wondering, like, what exactly can I make out of these new torn out pages? Maybe some sort of taco. Who knows? But you're also confused by the fact that apparently it's written in some kind of code. Hors d'oeuvre? You don't even know what that is, but apparently there's a list of suggestions for things to add on to an entry. But before they get the entry, you get the hors d'oeuvre. So, d'oeuvres? You're having difficulty trying to understand, but you're lost in thought as the occupant, I imagine, is still just hanging out, getting settled in for the night.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting to hear a thump outside right now.
All right.
My dad did once ask what horse divers were.
Ark
All right.
Lloyd, what is Bigby up to? Last we left him, he was pouring one out for the late sergeant.
I'd say he's probably at the. Is there a firing range in this area that he could be practicing his marksmanship?
So you ask around for an actual firing range, and surprisingly, there is not. However, after a while, you are pointed in the direction of the Departmentum Munitorum section, specifically the area being run by the two ratlings. Right? Meow.
Oh, there. Okay.
And as you go over there, you do notice that they actually have set up sort of an ad hoc firing range against a fuel barrel. It's certainly not. It's certainly not a particularly long range, but it's enough for them to sort of adjust the sights on the weapons. And as you get there, you notice both the ratlings stop talking and they go, sort of look at you, sort of squinting, and like, "Is there something we can help you with there, friend?"
Just looking for a place I can practice my marksmanship for the pride of the Emperor.
Pride of the fucking Emperor. Yeah, there's an entire war zone, like 45 minutes north of here. And then when
Well,
the
I've
other one
not
goes,
been assigned there. I've been assigned here for now. So, is there any place here that I could fire my weapon and sight it in?
when the other one goes, "Well, as a matter of fact, I think there might be something we can do for you. So, the question is, if we manage to get you this firing range you're so hot for, what exactly are you going to do for us? Look, people of our stature have to look out for one another, right?
Right. Of
We're going
course.
to look out for you. You need to look out for us. It's a thing we have here. All those tall cunts, well, they get shot first for a reason. So, what exactly do you need? Is it just shooting you're after? Or would you like some aftermarket parts to make sure whatever you shoot stays down?"
Well, if you're talking about requisitions, would like a nice auto pistol, even a used one. Something to take the edge off when the enemy gets too close for this baby. And he pats the strap of his sniper rifle.
"Oh ho! That is a mighty fine rifle you have there." He goes, "Diego, look at this one." And you see the other one looks at him. He goes, "Figures. They just give him this one. I've had to make mine from day one." He goes, "Right, so, since this is the first time we're meeting you, I imagine we ought to do something kind. Roll me a 1d100. The lower the better. Let's see what they have in stock for you."
Shit. When I don't want to roll high.
They go, "Unfortunately, we've had to melt down a lot of the, well, the sidearms on account of some of the officers take it as an insult that the lower enlisted get to have any at all. I think the last time I heard anything from them was, what do they need an auto pistol for? They have a shovel, ain't they? So, probably not going to find an auto pistol around these parts. But we might have something a little bit more interesting for you." And
Oh,
he goes, "You see, here at the Departmentum Unitorum, what we can't requisition, we can recreate. We have something of a smithy going on in the back room. So, if you get us enough chits, maybe do a couple favors for us, we might be able to slap something together custom.
whatever
Or
favors a private can
just
do for
customize
me,
it for you.
I'll see what I
Well,
can do.
we don't need you to go talking to any of the higher ups or anything like that. But sometimes, well, we're only allowed to stay here at the Departmental Unitorum. So if we need to go, say, pick up an extra lunch at the cafeteria or at the DFAC, we might need to call on you. Similarly, let's say we hear about an officer with a particular family heirloom that dies tragically fighting the Greenskins. Perhaps we need you to go recover some of his effects so that we can properly catalog them.
Of course.
These are all things that would be best done by someone who isn't me. So, if that's something you're interested in, as a sign of our continued friendship and working relationship, I think it would be best if we gave you one of these. And roll me 1d10, and you're not going to get any bonuses because your 1d100 sucked. All right, what did you get? Oh, did I lose you there? 7. Fucking, I don't even know what an era is, Jort.
The IRA?
Ira? I don't. Why would anyone up the raw? Come on.
I don't know if you're
It's-
joking now or not.
Isn't that like an Irish group?
That's what I said. I don't know if he's joking or not. If he's
I thought it was
joking, then don't say it.
I'm pretty sure it's an investment portfolio thing.
Oh yeah, an
Investment
IRA.
Returns
Yeah,
Association.
let's go with that.
There you go.
All right, so you rolled a 7. Also not great. So they're looking at it and they go, well, sort of filtering through it, and they go, wait, then we should have given. And they hand you a what looks to be like a wooden pistol that's also hammered, like it's got bits of metal hammered into it. And the one thing you notice is that it's breech loaded. And more importantly, they hand you just a bag of loose powder. You know, so consider this just a small token. You're only going to get the one shot, but we've loaded it with something special for you. If you need to reload, it might take you quite some time. And he sort of looks at you and goes, like, hypothetically, if you were to break it down into an estimate of like turns, like if the average guardsman could accomplish a certain amount of tasks within a single turn, the average guardsman would be able to reload this after 3 full turns. If you understand my meaning there. But you now have a black powder, what is effectively a Flintlock pistol. It has a range of 15 meters. It is inaccurate, unreliable.
A perfect sidearm.
It is primitive, so it can never do more than 8 damage. However, looking at what this is, it appears to be a form of shot shell that's been loaded in here. So, basically, it has the scatter quality. So it is 1d10 plus 3, and it has scatter. And I already said primitive 8, unreliable, inaccurate. Yeah, and you have 1 round in it. But you now have a pistol. Well done.
All right. Well, what the rate of fire is just 1.
Just 1. And he goes, tell you what, the more we work for one another, you bring it back to us, we'll upgrade it over time, see if we can't get you something more and more interesting. We actually have a pretty good idea for a locking mechanism. There's a barrel shroud and a suppressor. So, given enough time, you might have yourself a fancy little dust gun.
Yes, it's better when it's handmade, is it not?
I completely agree. Now, for your part, it's come to our attention that we don't really know what's going on in the next few weeks, and that is damned dangerous for us. So if you would be so kind, I believe that the good captain has his notes from the strategy session earlier today. So if you wouldn't mind going into his tent, cleaning up after him, maybe bringing us some of those notepads. I'm not sure if it's on his person or in his chew, the place where he sleeps. But you're gonna need these, and he hands you a dustbin and a broom.
All right.
Good luck, and remember, We didn't say anything.
Who didn't
No,
say
but
anything?
seriously. But, oh, you're a good one. Seriously, we will shoot you before you sell us out.
Of course.
Alright, lad. Good on ya. Goodbye.
He'll salute. Actually, no, he'll just give a thumbs up. That's even better.
Roll me an awareness check real quick. And if you have the heightened sense of hearing, you can add 10 to it.
You gotta give him a buddy Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you're walking away, you can hear him go, I got a good feeling about that one. Right, well, even if he tries to sell us out, we did just record the entire conversation about him wanting to go steal shite from the captain. So, insurance. So, it seems as though they've recorded this conversation.
Oh joy. Or did they record their part of it?
Presumably.
Hmm. So it still implicates Sam if I'm caught and I squeal, though I don't plan on it.
Yep.
I'm gonna die anyway, so might as well be chivalrous about it and not implicate my friends.
Is that what chivalry means?
I think so.
Modern chivalry, I guess you could say.
I thought chivalry had to do when you got cold. Oh well. Alright, so you need to sneak into this tent over here if you want to go through with this. You notice two things. The first is that you see your good buddy, Private Jort, standing just zoned out deep in thought outside of one of the officers' quarters, which you find odd.
All right. Oh,
And on top
whose
of that,
tent is this?
that is the Inquisitor's tent.
Hmm.
A certain Sergeant Raygun went in there before receiving some rather disastrous orders.
Some say he still stands there to this day.
His ghost will haunt the barracks. He will get the money.
All right. Well, let's have Big B take his broom and dustpan and trying to think here. I don't think there's anywhere I could stash the sniper rifle. Besides, like, if you can go to wherever his quarters are, put
Yeah, there
this.
wasn't a time limit on it. So if you want, you can stash your weapons over in the main barracks over by where York is.
Yeah.
All right.
That way, it looks the part because you never see a janitor with a sniper rifle, right?
I mean,
Agent 47.
clearly you've never been to the Bronx. But,
John Wick.
right? So, as you get there, you do start to hear some alarms going off, and you hear this off in the distance. Where your base is situated, there is like a small metropolitan area, like a mile away from you, and you can actually hear the sirens already cranking, and you can hear as you see anti-aircraft and flak fire start to erupt from that cityscape. And as you're watching, you can also begin to hear. Everybody, roll me awareness. Right meow.
I'm sorry, did you say right meow?
Right meow. Now,
Would it be a hearing test or otherwise?
this would be hearing.
I'm sorry.
So I will-
Are Auspecs allowed?
my book's too interesting.
Well, I'm guessing by the laugh that's no.
Yeah,
and
no.
George
Not
got an
unless,
AirPod
not unless
too.
you were already monitoring it for this. But, yeah. You guys don't hear nothing.
Gotta get my eyes replaced. I say fully legitimately saying the possibility.
All right. So, I'm going to roll a d10 that corresponds to an area of the base. Okie doke.
That part's about to explode.
On a Exactly. So effectively, 1 means that it's outside the base, so that's what you want. But I'm going to do this 8 times.
Oh boy, 8 times.
And I'm going to need some other things. Namely, I'm going to need, let's see, who hasn't done anything to... Alright, so, Skippy, I need you to roll me 1d5.
Oh boy.
Say also, am I still standing next to a tank?
5.
Oh, nice. Alright, so this is only going to be 3 impacts. And yes, you are standing next to a tank. And as this is coming in, you guys start to hear,
Low whistle inaudible to the microphone.
Yeah, say you started.
yeah,
you started too low.
oh well, you hear whistling as the artillery, not artillery shells, but as something comes streaking. As you look, you can actually see motes of light as you realize that there are rockets rushing towards your base. And as you can see, the Baneblade rotates its guns and starts firing basically as an ad hoc anti-aircraft device. And between the Baneblade as well as some of the other like Sea-Wiz systems set up around the base, you see as all these rockets that are just sort of whizzing through the air, not really stabilized, just very chaotically, going everywhere. You just start to get smacked down one at a time by the anti-aircraft fire.
Oh,
10. Alexander. You see as one of these rockets comes flashing straight towards the tank, and you can actually hear a voice coming out through a loudspeaker, going, "Engines here. It would behoove you to lay down promptly."
I drop.
Roll me a dodge with a +20 as the Baneblade is attempting to position itself to protect you from the blast.
Oh,
Everybody else is inside.
+20. That's just enough to defeat the -20, which means I'll still fail.
You don't have dodge trained?
Why would I?
Oh, Jesus. Hey! You watch as the rocket comes in, you ah! Ah! And the Baneblade just backs up. The rocket slams into the side of the Baneblade. And it doesn't detonate. It just disintegrates. Just actually, hold on. Let me see if it detonates.
See, the trick is to always put yourself in the position of being next to more important things.
No, it doesn't detonate. It just slams into the side, and you can tell, like, just from as the pieces of rocket fly past you, it's almost like it's made out of scrap metal. It's like a bunch of dumpsters with a rocket motor attached to it that were just sent flying towards you from the Orcish lines. As it slams into the Baneblade just definitely took some damage, but it seems to be okay as just shrapnel goes everywhere around you, just sticking into the ground, but doesn't manage to hit you. All right. 1. Fantastic. That one actually impacts outside of the base. You can actually see a bunch of people that are on guard duty on the wall duck down as a rocket slams into the ground. Also not detonating, just hitting the ground, bursting into shrapnel that goes basically ricocheting all over the walls. It embeds itself into the officer's chow hall, but doesn't really do any damage.
Crazy rolls.
Oh yeah.
I'm just these ones.
Yeah, basically what you don't want to happen is a 2, hold on. You don't want a 2, a 4, or a 5.
Which one of those
would
is
be
the ones
bad
that
for
hit
you.
both Jort and Griffin as a character?
A 5 would hit both of them, yes.
Jort and Skippy?
Oh yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, Skippy would have seen it coming.
Yeah, can't
Actually,
you just fucking
4,
grab the rocket with your mind?
yeah, so
Do it.
4, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So, speaking of, Jort, you look up and you happen to see, all these rockets streaming towards you, one aiming almost directly for these officers' quarters, including you and your charge. However, You know that there are areas that you could try and run to. Most of these areas, the interior areas, are backed up by sandbags and are designed for the most part to withstand light mortar attacks. So you could attempt to dodge inside one of them. However, technically you were ordered to stay still in front of this doorway.
Muted again.
Meanwhile,
Oh, I am muted.
Scipio,
Yep.
you hear the sort of alarm bells, the klaxons going off, and you're hearing this horrific sound of like metal impacting and shattering. You're hearing people scream. What would you like to do?
You know, I think now is probably a good time to take cover. There are sandbags adjacent to the actual tent, so that seems the place to take cover at.
Yeah, I mean, the tent itself is also covered in sandbags.
Yeah.
It's basically a mini. Yeah, unlike your guys' barracks, the officer quarters are actually pretty well designed.
Actually, hold up a second. There's someone outside, and there's about to be an impact. I'm going to throw open the door and then just lightly tug him inside.
All
Get
right,
in, you idiot.
Forcing him
I'm
to
gonna-
break orders. Perfect.
I'm gonna executed. I'm gonna roll 1d4 to see which of the officers' quarters gets hits. You are 4.
Conversely,
Oh,
reaching out
gosh,
and grabbing somebody. That's suspicious behavior. Shoot him.
How mad is the Inquisitor gonna be if he gets...
He is not gonna be happy. All right, let's see if it detonates. If it detonates, then everybody's kind of boned. But all right, we have a detonation. As you jump inside, there's an impact followed by like a shunk. And after a few seconds, as the sandbag walls around you guys take most of the damage, but they're also blown inwards a bit as this rocket slams directly into the Inquisitor's tent. All right, now I have to see what the health of the Inquisitor is as he takes, as all of you take, by the way.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh, also, if you roll dodge, I'll allow you to get behind cover in order to add that to your armor class.
Okay. I will roll foreboding.
Oh, nice.
I guess I have to jump on top of Scipio. So
Sure, both of you give me your rolls.
All right. So this is going to be willpower, and it is going to be net plus 10.
Wow. Great roll, Jordan. Top notch.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Perception. That's right. There we go. Net plus 10. This is unfettered. It just doesn't work.
Good job, team.
Yep.
Alrighty then. So, let's get this party started, shall we?
All right.
3d10, explosive damage, pen 5.
How many giblets does it take?
Yeah, Scipio, as you're standing there, you get this flash in your head of the rocket impacting. For some strange reason, actually, roll me a Cynicians test? See if you can
Cynius.
make sense of this. For some reason, you see...
Where is it? Here it is. Test. 3.
I think we lost our GM.
Uh-oh.
You're
Yep.
trying to piece this together. There you go. You're like, no, not a cactus. It's prickly and angry like a cactus, and it's green like a cactus. No. Oh. And you realize that these are there. You get the sense of a grotling, a small, orcish type creature from these missiles.
Ooh.
And as you realize this, you see the following vision of the missile hitting and detonating and blowing in the sandbags, and you see a clear spot. It's actually the way the blast wave forms as it goes through the sandbags. It actually leaves one section of your room almost completely untouched. You grab your bag, you toss it over there, and as you start to walk, you hear the voice of a private as he throws himself on top of you.
Ah, didn't see that one coming.
Oh
Preventing-
shit!
Preventing both of you from dodging.
How many
16.
people will Jort take with him?
So it's 16 pen 5,
Mhm.
but you will also get an additional 10 armor from the sandbags themselves. I'm sorry,
Ooh.
you failed your dodges, so you only get 5 armor from the sandbags.
How much armor from Jort?
From Jort? Jort, would you like to take the brunt of this damage? I'll allow you to use, not burn, just use your fate point in order to just soak all the damage from the other person.
Sure, yeah. I was
Oh, boy.
tasked to protect this guy.
Also, pointedly, if it's 16 pen 5 and they only get 5 from the sandbags, so just 16 then.
Yep, minus their armor, plus this is an explosion, so your armor class goes up by 1.
So then that would leave me at like 9 wounds, I think. Because I
That
have
you suffered
8.
9 wounds, or
Well, I think from this rocket, I would have suffered 9 wounds if that's.
So your armor is 4, right? Plus 1 for explosion, that's 5. What's your toughness?
So total it's 8. So then,
oh, you only have 3 toughness, or a 3 modifier for your toughness.
or my toughness is 48.
So
So
you
it's
actually
4.
have, yeah. So it's 4 plus 5. So you soak 9 damage of the 16. So you take 5 wounds.